Hello, guys! Hello, everyone! Good morning! Welcome to one more class at SEDA College Online. I'm teacher Camila. This is the beginner level. So, welcome everyone to one more day of learning. Thanks for coming to one more class. Yeah? So, happy Wednesday. Get ready. As you know already, make sure you have pencil or a pen and a paper because we have exercises. We have lots of exercises today. Okay? Did you watch our class yesterday? Did you participate on the class yesterday? I'm gonna show a quick review before we start today's class, alright? So, yesterday we talked about present simple. Yeah, so Monday we started with affirmative and negative sentences, and yesterday we talked about the question form in the present simple, and we talked about I, you, we, and they, just for these four subjects. Yeah, so let's see here the question form. Do I drink coffee? Affirmative, I drink coffee, and negative, I don't drink coffee. Do you live in Ireland? Affirmative, you live in Ireland, and negative, you don't live in Ireland. Do we have class tomorrow? Question form. We have class tomorrow. Affirmative, and we don't have class tomorrow. Negative form. And for they, do they work in a bank? Question form. They work in a bank. Affirmative form. And they don't work in a bank. Negative form. Yes? Very simple. So just to remember, I, you, we, and they. The auxiliary verb is do for questions. So every time we ask a question in the present simple, we use do before I, you, we, and they. And for negative sentences, we always use don't, like they don't work in a bank. All right? Simple. So today we're going to continue with the present simple, but we're going to see something different. So take a look at this picture. Do you know who is this guy? So who is this? Let's see. Who is he? He is Neymar. Does he play for Barcelona? No, he doesn't. He plays for PSG. Let's see one more example. Do you know this lady? Who is she? She's Natalie Allen. Where does she work? She works for CNN. So what's different here? So Monday and Tuesday we talked about I, you, we, and they. And today we're going to talk about he and she. Okay? So let's take a look. What's different? We just saw there that the questions were made with do. And here that we have a question, but it starts with does. And here another question with does. Also, the negative form here. No, he doesn't. And the affirmative, he plays. She works. All right, so let's see why it happens. So here we have all the subject pronouns. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, and they. But today we're going to focus on this yellow part, the subject he, she, and it. Okay? So let's take a look at the affirmative sentence. If I say with I say I work, you work, he works, she works, it works. Negative. I don't work. You don't work. He doesn't work. She doesn't work. And it doesn't work. Different. Question. Do I work? Do you work? Does he work? Does she work? Or does it work? Why, teacher? Why is it different? So when we talk about the present simple for he, she, and it, in affirmative sentences, we use the verb plus s, like works, okay? We add an s at the verb. For negative sentences, we use doesn't. So we don't use don't. We use doesn't for he, she, and it. And for questions, we use does plus he, she, or it, and then the verb. Okay? So that's the difference, guys. When we use the third person, he, she, and it, we use s in the affirmative sentences after the verb, and does or doesn't as the auxiliary verb. All right? So can you listen and repeat with me just these three so we can practice? Sorry. He works. He doesn't work. Does he work? She works. She doesn't work. Does she work? It works. It doesn't work. Does it work? Good. Now let's take a look at the spelling rules. Spelling rules. So here, take a look at the first sentence here. I work in a bank. But if I put into the third person, we talk about he works in a bank. All right? So we add one s in words ending in consonant. So K is a consonant, so we just add s, okay? I work, he works. Let's see the next example. I play football. I play football. He plays football. He plays football. So we also add one s in words ending in vowel plus y. So A is a vowel and then we have y. In this case, we just add one s. All right? Then I have here, I watch TV. I watch TV. He watches TV. So what's different here? We don't have just one s. We have es. Why, teacher? Words ending in ch, sh, s, ss, or x. If your verb, the last part of the verb is one of these, we have to add es. So this one, watch, is finished in ch, so we add es. All right? Then we have here, I study English. He studies. So here we have ies. Why? This is a word ending in consonant plus y. So look, study. We have d, which is a consonant, and we have y. So after consonant and y, we cross out the y and we add ies. Okay? It's the same spelling rules as for plurals that we saw in the first week. Do you remember? So here we have an exception, 3 exceptions. So irregular verbs for he, she, and it. So here we have the verb have, the verb go, and the verb do. They are different than all the other verbs. They don't use the same spelling rules. They have different rules. So when I say I have, if I say he, she, or it, I have to say has. So I don't say haves. I say has. Okay? I go becomes he, she, it goes. And I do, he, she, it does. Okay? So these 3, they don't use the same spelling rules. They are different. So we need to memorize. Alright? Now, just to practice a little bit, I'm going to read these sentences. I want you to listen and repeat with me. Okay? So say, I work in a bank. He works in a bank. I play football. He plays football. I watch TV. He watches TV. I study English. He studies English. Okay? Now here, I have. He has. I go. He goes. I do. He does. All right. All good. I know it's a lot of information, but it's very simple and we're going to practice a lot today. So let's practice these verbs. So we have here some verbs that we talked about yesterday, yes? And I want you to write this verb for he, she, or it. So for example, I have here study. I study. And for he, she, or it would be studies. Studies. Now, do the same with the other verbs. Write down how would you write these verbs for he, she, or it. Okay, I'm gonna give you some seconds. Write your answers, and in a few seconds, we're going to correct them. Okay, let's go. So write down the verb for he, she, or it. Few more seconds and we correct. All right, can we start? Yeah, so let's see. Go becomes goes. Yes, remember it's one of the irregular verbs, so goes. Listens, we just add one s at the end. Drinks, reads, watches. So if it's finished in ch, we add es, so watches. Have, never haves, okay? We say has, it's an irregular verb. Speak, speaks, and live, lives. All good? Now let's do some exercises. All right, let's see. Rewrite the sentences. So, number 1, I live in a house. I live in a house. But here, we're not talking about I anymore. We're going to talk about he. So, how would you rewrite these sentences? This sentence using he. He lives, yes, we add an S. He lives in a house. All right. Now, complete all the sentences. So look at the first sentence and rewrite using the other subject pronouns here. I'm gonna give you some minutes. Write down your answers, and on the next slide, we're going to check them. So rewrite the sentences using these object pronouns here, okay? Remember to write down your answer. Few more seconds. Pay attention to the auxiliary verb when making questions. Are you ready to check? Yes, can we start the correction? All right, let's take a look. So as we said, the number 1, I live in a house. He lives in a house. 2, you read books. She reads books. 3, we study French. My brother, so my brother is the same as he, yeah? My brother studies French. 4, do you speak English? So here the auxiliary verb is do because the subject is you. But if the subject is she, we have to say, does she speak? This is important, guys. When making a question, we use does, but the verb doesn't need s, okay? If you use does in the sentence, the verb here doesn't need an s. So the correct answer is does she speak? Does she speak? 5, what do you do? What do you do? So here the subject is your wife. So your wife is the same as she. So what does your wife do? Yes? What does your wife do? So again, if we have does in the question, the verb stays the same way. We don't need to say does again. The correct way is what does your wife do? 6, where do they work? So your husband is the same as he. So where does your husband work? Work, no s, okay? I have two brothers. So she has two brothers. And number 8, do you like dogs? And your daughter is the same as she. So does your daughter like dogs? Okay? So remember, in the question form, we use does and the verb doesn't need an s. Okay? It stays in the base form. Alright, I'm going to read all of the answers. Can you listen and repeat with me? So 1, he lives in a house. 2, she reads books. 3, my brother studies French. 4, does she speak English? Oh, sorry guys, let me fix this. There you go. Sorry. So, does she speak English? 5, what does your wife do? 6, where does your husband work? 7, she has two brothers. 8, does your daughter like dogs? All good? Let's practice a bit more. Exercise 2. Put the verb in brackets in the right form. So pay attention if it's affirmative, negative, or question form. Okay? And so let's see the first one. We, so it's not he, not she, not it. We in Dublin, so not live. How can I make this sentence in the negative form for we? So the first one, let's do together. We don't live in Dublin. We don't live in Dublin. So pay attention at the subject pronoun in the sentence, if it's we, she, they, John, the class. Pay attention and then write the verb in the right form. Okay? I'm gonna give you 2-3 minutes. Complete the sentence, write down your answers, and on the next slide we are going to check them. Complete the sentences with the right form of the verb in brackets. Okay, a few more seconds before we correct. All right, are you ready to check? Do you have your answers? Let's see. So number 1, we don't live in Dublin. So if it's we, the auxiliary is don't. She listens to pop music. So she, we add one S here. 3, they don't work on Saturdays. So the auxiliary for they is don't. 4, does John live with his mother? Does John live with his mother? So the auxiliary for question is does, and then the verb here, we don't add one S. So does John live? Okay? 5, the class finishes at 10:30. So it's finished in SH, finish. So we add ES. The class finishes because class is the same as eat, right? 6, he usually has eggs for breakfast. So the verb have in for he becomes has. I don't watch TV at night. So for I, the auxiliary verb is don't. 8, do you want juice or water? So do you want? If it's a question, we need the auxiliary do for you. 9, Mark doesn't eat meat or fish. He's vegetarian. So Mark is the same as he. The negative auxiliary is doesn't eat. Same thing, okay? If we have doesn't, we don't need S here. And 10, do your children. So children is plural. Remember, one child, two children. So if it's plural, it's the same as they. Okay? So that's why we use do, because children is the same as they. So do your children like their new school? Oh, good. Okay, so listen and repeat with me. 1, we don't live in Dublin. 2, she listens to pop music. 3, they don't work on Saturdays. 4, does John live with his mother? 5, the class finishes at 10:30. 6, he usually has eggs for breakfast. 7, I don't watch TV at night. 8, do you want juice or water? 9, Mark doesn't eat meat or fish. He is vegetarian. And 10, do your children like their new school? Good job, guys. Good job. Now, before we finish, let's do some vocabulary as well. Yeah? So we saw the grammar. Now we're going to see some vocabulary about jobs. So take a look at these pictures here. What is these people's profession? What are their jobs? So the first one, he is a teacher like me. He is a teacher. The second one, he is a doctor. He is a doctor. The next one, she is a nurse. She is a nurse. Next, she is a journalist. A journalist. Now, these two over here, they have the same job, but she is a girl and he is a boy. So they have different names for their job. She is a waitress. She is a waitress and he is a waiter. Waiter. So it's the same job, but one is for woman and the other one is for men. All right? So again, let's practice these new words, all right? Can you listen and repeat with me? A teacher, a doctor, a nurse, a journalist, a waitress, a waiter. Okay, let's see a few more jobs. So look at this girl in the first picture. Looks like a hotel maybe. Yeah, she is a receptionist. A receptionist. This guy here, he is a factory worker. Factory worker. So here we have again a woman and a man. So she is a police woman. Yes, a police woman. And he is a policeman. It's the same job, but one is for woman and the other one is for man. Now down here we have this lady selling clothes. She is a shop assistant. And this lovely guy, he is a taxi driver. All right? Now, let's listen and repeat one more time. Say a receptionist, a factory worker, a policewoman, a policeman, a shop assistant, a taxi driver. Good job, guys. Now, let's see, where do these people work? Where do they work? So here we have places of work. Yeah? So what's this first place here? The first picture. It's a school. Yeah? So you can work. I work in a school. The second one is in a shop. In a shop. The next one, in a restaurant. In a restaurant. In an office. Yes, in an office. In a hospital. In the street. And in a factory. In a factory. So all of the jobs we talked about, people can work in these places. So again, listen and repeat with me, all right? Say, in a school, in a shop, in a restaurant, in an office, in a hospital, in the street, and in a factory. All right, now let's do the last exercise of the day, all right? So I want you to match the jobs to the correct places of work and make sentences, all right? So here we have the places of work, and here we have 7 jobs. So a teacher, where does a teacher work? A teacher works in a hospital. Yes, a teacher works in a a teacher works in a school. Teacher, crazy teacher. A teacher works in a school. So look at the other jobs. Excuse me. Look at the other jobs here. Match and write a sentence. I'm gonna give you some minutes. We're going to correct on the next slide. So match the job with the correct place of work and write a sentence. So match them and write the sentence. Few more seconds and we're going to correct. All right, let's see what you have. A teacher works, yes, because one teacher could be he or she works in a school. A doctor works in a hospital. A waitress works in a restaurant. A taxi driver works in the street. A shop assistant works in a shop. We're missing one verb here. Sorry guys, 1 minute. Okay, so a shop assistant works in a shop. A receptionist works in an office. And a factory worker works in a factory. So again, listen and repeat with me the last exercise, all right? 1. A teacher works in a school. 2. A doctor works in a hospital. 3. A waitress works in a restaurant. 4. A taxi driver works in the street. 5. A shop assistant works in a shop. 6. A receptionist works in an office. And 7. A factory worker works in a factory. Did you get all of them correct? Good job, everyone. So, thank you for coming for one more class today. I'm very happy that you guys are enjoying the classes. If you have any questions, any comments, please write here. And I'm going to wait for you guys tomorrow here at 9:30 again. Okay? Thank you very much. Have a nice day and I see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.